Howdy everyone, welcome to Con News Texas. I'm your host, Sammy B, and this show has absolutely nothing to do with convicted felons.
Wow!
Really, Paul? Con News? That's the title we're going with? No, I was just thinking there was some room for confusion, but I think they'll get it. We here at Con News are dedicated to providing you with the information you need so that you don't have to go clicking around a bunch of websites just to figure out if a convention you're interested in is something you're actually going to enjoy going to. Basically, by the end of this show, I want you to have all of the knowledge you need so that you can confidently attend a convention without worrying about missing something or wondering who's going to be there or what's going to be happening. So let's go ahead and move right along to our first convention that we'll be spotlighting on this channel, Comicpalooza. Comicpalooza this year will be held June 17th through June 19th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in downtown Houston. Let's go ahead and get the important information out of the way first. Registration. A full weekend adult pass is going to cost you $66. One-day adult passes can also be purchased. That'll be $30 for Friday, $40 for Saturday, and $35 for Sunday. A 3-day child pass costs $15, and a 1-day child pass for any one of the 3 weekend days will cost $10. Also offered by this convention are VIP passes, speed passes, autograph packages, photo op packages, as well as a special Dynamo ticket package. If you were hoping to volunteer at Comicpalooza, unfortunately the volunteer registration has already closed. They actually closed volunteer registration back on May 27th, but we'll make sure that in future videos we announce early enough whenever volunteer opportunities become available. So now that we've got the boring stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to the attractions. Like guests, there are so many guests, so many wonderful actors and talented people that are going to be at this convention, and I'm pretty sure somebody on this list is going to excite you. So in no particular order, let's go ahead and count down all of the wonderful people that will make an appearance at this year's Comicpalooza. Kate Beckinsale, who you might remember as the main protagonist from the Underworld film series, will be there, but she will only be there on Saturday. Bill Paxton of Aliens, Terminator, and Apollo 13 fame will also only be there on Saturday. Sigourney Weaver from the Aliens film series and countless other fantastic sci-fi titles will also be there. Paul Reiser from the Aliens franchise. Clifton Collins Jr., David Della Rocco, Sean Patrick Flannery, and Norman Reedus will all be at Comicpalooza that weekend for a Boondock Saints reunion. Peter Mayhew, who of course played Chewbacca in the original Star Wars film series. Tara Reid, who has acted in such movies as The Big Lebowski, American Pie, and Sharknado. Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk himself, is going to be making an appearance. Eliza Dushku of Dollhouse fame will be making an appearance as well. I'm actually really excited about this. Kel Mitchell of Kenan and Kel fame will be making an appearance as well. Thank goodness that guy is still alive. Eva Bella and Livy Stubenrock, who were the voice actors for young Elsa and Anna in the film Frozen. Mark Ralston will be there, who has acted in films like Aliens, Rush Hour 2, RoboCop 2, The Departed. He's made appearances in Supernatural, and he's also done voice acting in Halo 4 and Batman Arkham Origins. Zach Calliston will be there. He's the voice actor for Steven from Steven Universe. Mark Kistler will be there. Now this one's actually interesting. This is the guy who taught the people who currently run Pixar how to animate and how to draw. Spat Oktan will be there, a wonderful makeup artist, costume designer, and props maker. And for all you wrestling fans out there, the Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair, will be making an appearance. And those are just a handful of the big name guests that are going to be there, so you should definitely check it out because you never know who you're going to find. Here's a link to the guest page so you can check out the full list yourself. Now let's move on to programming. Now I actually didn't go through the list and pull out every individual little thing I think you would be interested in. Instead, I'm just going to cover some of the high traffic highlights. On Friday, there will be Q&A sessions for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, NASA, Homestuck, Special Effects Masters, Walter Koenig, and Tara Reid. The celebrities who are going to be doing photo ops on Friday are Peter Mayhew, David Prowse, Kevin Graveau, Tara Reid. The Boondock Saints will be doing a photo op that day. Fear Factory will be doing a photo op that day. And Walter Koenig will also be doing a photo op that day as well. In the general interest sort of things, there's going to be a roller derby match. There's going to be a Japanese fashion show. Otaku Acoustic will be performing on Friday. Later on in the evening, there's going to be a cross-play drag contest. After midnight, we'll probably be doing their Shadowcast production of Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. And very late in the evening, there's going to be a special game of Cards Against Humanity with some very special guests. Now let's move on to Saturday. Saturday is going to be a huge day for this convention, and there will be a lot of stuff to do. First and foremost, the only currently scheduled autograph session is going to be happening on Saturday, and that's going to be Kate Beckinsale's autograph session. Saturday is also going to be a huge question and answer panel day. We'll have question and answer panels from the 501st Legion. Cameron Bikondova, Eva Bella, and Livy Stubenach will be doing their own question and answer panel. There's going to be a director's question and answer panel, as well as a YouTube question and answer panel. Lou Ferrigno is doing a question and answer panel. Eliza Dushku is doing one as well. Also, Rick Simmons, who voiced Gurr from Invader Zim, is doing a question and answer panel. Saturday is also the day the entire Alien cast will be doing their question and answer panel. Quiet Riot's Frankie Banali will be doing a question and answer panel. And finally, Rooster Teeth and Kate Beckinsale will both be doing question and answer panels on Saturday. If that wasn't enough of a mouthful, let's move on to the photo ops. Okay, real quick now. Cameron Bikondova, Eva and Livy will be having another photo op. Eliza Dushku, Kel Mitchell, Sigourney Weaver, Frankie Banali, Lou Ferrigno, Fear Factory, the entire cast of Alien, Paul Razier, Bill Paxton, Kate Beckinsale, and Kevin Graveau, Walter Koenig, The Boondock Saint, Ric Flair, Peter Mayhew, David Prowse, Dead Seven, and Lenny James. Also happening on Saturday will be a couple of roller derby matches, Dalek racing, Quidditch matches. The cosplay contest is happening on Saturday. Celebrity karaoke will be happening on Saturday, which sounds amazing. And finally, Saturday night, after midnight, we'll be performing their Shadowcast rendition of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just in case you haven't passed out from all the absolute fun you'll be having that weekend, let's go ahead and cover Sunday. Sunday actually looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting Q&A day. We're going to have Dominic Cooper, Lou Ferrigno, Kel Mitchell. The Boondock Saints are going to be having their own Q&A session that day as well. Peter Mayhew and David Prowse will both be doing a Star Wars Q&A. And finally, Fear Factory is going to be having a Q&A session as well. The last photo ops that you're going to be able to get on Sunday will be Walter Koenig, the Boondock Saints, Dominic Cooper, Kevin Graveau, Lenny James, Peter Mayhew, Elijah Dushku, Kel Mitchell, Dead Seven, Fear Factory, Frankie Banali, and Lenny James. Now that we've got the programming out of the way, let's move on to gaming. There are going to be a ton of board games happening at Comicpalooza, so make sure you check them all out. There are actually going to be a lot of card games as well, though mostly what I was seeing was a lot of Pokemon and just a little bit of Magic the Gathering. I'm pretty sure the retro cabinets will be back this year somewhere on the top floor. There's also going to be Wii U Super Smash Bros. Singles and team tournaments. There's also going to be Street Fighter V tournaments and Pokken tournaments. If you're into miniatures, I was seeing a lot of Star Wars, a lot of Warhammer 40k, and HeroClix as well. So if any of those are your things, go ahead and go check them out. There's also going to be a good amount of PC gaming going on at Comicpalooza this year. If you're a fan of Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, Overwatch, or just any other general multiplayer Steam game, there's going to be casual play as well as tournaments going on. Or if you're like me and prefer throwing dice to hitting buttons, there's going to be a lot of Pathfinder at Comicpalooza, as well as a little bit of Star Wars and Shadowrun thrown in for good measure. And of course, I can't cover everything, so here's a link right here to all of the gaming that will be happening at Comicpalooza. Finally, Dealer's Room. Dealer's Room at Comicpalooza is enormous. You're going to want to set aside maybe a couple of hours at least to go through all of the Dealer's Room. It is massive. There's going to be lots of comic book vendors. If I recall last year, there were some video game booths set up as well, so definitely go check those out. There will be a lot of toys and merchant vendors running around. And finally, Comicpalooza is a comic book convention, so there will be a ton of artists with a ton of booths selling a lot of gorgeous art. And that does it for the fun stuff, so allow me to slow things down a bit, and let's go back to the boring things. First off, the George R. Brown Convention Center is located at 1001 Avenida de las Americas in downtown Houston. Now, this convention is only a month away, so if you're traveling in from out of town or just looking to get a little bit closer to the action, hotel rates are actually a little bit high. Most of the hotels that are nearby the convention center are northeast of Highway 69, which is right in the downtown area of Houston. But for you big money spenders out there, this shouldn't pose as much of a problem. There's a Hilton, an Embassy, and even a Four Seasons nearby. When I last checked, those rooms were going for about $150 to $250 a night. For those of you who are more economically minded like I am, you can actually find cheaper hotels in the Beltway 8 area or the 610 Loop area. Places around those areas generally have rates lower than $100 a night. But if you want to stay further away from the convention center, you're probably going to have to worry about parking. Now, Comicpalooza actually has a list of parking areas where you can reserve parking in advance. The link to that is right here. But if reserving parking doesn't really sound like your thing, there are also some parking lots that work on a first-come, first-served basis. Going this route will pretty much limit you to about 2 areas near the convention center. One of them happens to be the convention district itself, which actually contains the convention center. This area is bordered by the streets Leland, Texas, and Labernock. The second option you'll have is parking in the theater district, which is located inside Highway 45, bordered by the streets Clay, Milam, and Prairie. Parking prices in these areas range from about $10 to $15 per day, but also watch out because not all lots allow for overnight parking. If you're curious about transportation in downtown Houston, here's a link for you right here. Houston also has a metro system and Uber, however, Houston does not have Lyft. As if I couldn't get any more boring, let's talk about the weather. Most of the forecasts that I saw for this weekend in Houston were actually pretty tame. Most of them showed about an average of a 90-degree high. However, one source I found did say that there might be a chance of rain on Saturday. If you've been watching the news, you probably have seen that random rainstorms have been absolutely pummeling this area of Texas this year. So I'll keep you updated on the weather, but make sure you bring an umbrella and prepare for the humidity. Something worth noting is that Comicpalooza is held in an actual convention center. It's not just a convention that's held at a hotel. That means that there's a lot of open space and it's actually really nice. There are on-site concessions and food trucks that come by to brave the crowds. However, seating area is kind of scarce. So for those of you who have big, bulky cosplays or cosplays where it's difficult to sit down, you might want to watch out. Also, here's a link to some Comicpalooza approved coupons. Also worth noting, if you're of age, the George R. Brown Convention Center is located near somewhere called Neil's Bar. It's definitely worth checking out. Please keep in mind that this will be summer in Texas, in Houston. It will be hot and it will be humid. So make sure you wear light, breathable clothing, maybe pack a hat or an umbrella. Sometimes there are huge photo shoots that happen outside and you'll definitely won't want to miss them. The venue also does not allow outside alcohol, non-service animals, or things that are illegal. But basically the bottom line is this: if you like the Aliens movie series, if you like Underworld, if you like the Boondock Saints, Star Wars, if you love comic books, or if you just like going to conventions in general, go to this convention. Alright, that pretty much does it for our convention spotlight. Now let's go ahead and move on to our updates and corrections section. There is none. This is our first episode. However, if I've jacked something up in this episode or in any future episodes, feel free to email us at our email address right here. Also, we're just a small team here at Con News Texas, so if there's a convention that we've missed and you want us to cover, make sure you send us an email about it. One last thing before we end this episode: if you're not tired of hearing my voice yet, go ahead and go check out my personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/Orbindo. That's ORBINDO. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sammy B. This was Con News, and we will see you next Sunday.